lift off.
You good?
Yep.
All right, it being 8:30, we'll call the Tuesday, September 9th, Public Service Committee meeting to order. Anybody outside this room, or in the room, in the audience, video, tape, or recording? Doesn't appear so. Okay, we'll move on. My understanding is that both appeals will not be able to make it today. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay.
One would like to postpone it at least a month to see if they have made some corrections in the building down at West Broadway.
Okay. And then I realized the other residents out of town.
Correct.
So we will jump right into department updates. And just a little over, I think I alluded to it in my email to the group, or to the two of you. I apologize, I didn't have that on the group, but just on a monthly basis, President Tyros asked me just do a report out from department heads, just high level, just so I could report out at the city council meetings.
Sure.
So if we could just put that together, or I can capture notes as well, but just the main pieces that we want to be sent out.
Okay. 100%.
Thank you. All right, public works.
Okay, I'll start with paving. The state didn't give us our Chapter 90 money. They didn't approve it until early August. So it gives us about 2.5 months to prepare for the construction season, along with every other city and town in Massachusetts. We typically get Chapter 90 sometime around April to have the whole summer to work with. On the positive side, we typically get about $600,000 from the state. This year we got about 1.1 million. So the paving list did grow. It's just we're trying to scramble, working with Mass Broken Stone to try to nail down a schedule to get it all done. They've committed to the city of Gardner. They said they'll get the stuff done, provided we don't have a monsoon season. But if the construction season is adequate, decent, we'll still get it all done. So we are currently up on Green Street. We started yesterday pulverizing Green Street from the Rotary down just beyond Bertha Street. We're also doing Beach and Haywood while we're there. There's two little side streets that connect up to Woodland. We're doing sidewalks, concrete handicap ramps on all the streets that we're doing. From there, we're gonna move over to Crystal Lake Drive and Abbott Street, along with new sidewalks and handicap ramps as well. Then Cross Street, from Pine to Chestnut Street, we're gonna do. That's just a mill. We're not doing sidewalks, but we are gonna put in new concrete handicap ramps on that street. There's like 16 to 18 ramps that we're gonna install up there. We're also doing Lakeview and Plymouth Street area, Chatham, Idaho Road, that area up there, as well as Highland, Glacier, Reservoir Hills as well, and Sylvan Road. We got a grant from the state for a little over $450,000 to do Pearl Street from Betty Spring Road to the Rotary, that's the contractors doing that. We're not, the city itself is not doing the work at all, but the state has just given the city to manage the project, which is kind of unusual. But it's good news for us because we can kind of expedite it with our contractor. And so there'll be milling Pearl Street, handicap ramps, and obviously new road resurfacing. While we're there, we're gonna go down to Elizabeth Street, which we just put in a new water main and completed. The water department did its first water main replacement. And since I can't remember, before I've been here, they put in a new water main on Elizabeth and connected Nelson and Margaret. So we're gonna hit that road while we're right there on Pearl. So that will get done as far as paving goes. So that's it.
When do you plan on having that work done? And how will that impact school?
Yeah, the timing's awful.
I was thinking it's horrendous.
Yeah. But we're gonna have to work with a contract. I don't think they'll come at night, but maybe we can try to do some work at least during the weekends. And keep the bus schedule in mind. Maybe we start later on in the afternoon, in the morning, let the school buses get to school, and then start a little bit after. We have paved that area since by 2004.
Sure.
It's been done. It's a headache for a couple weeks, but then it's, we'll do as best we can. Any questions on paving? Municipal Grounds Department, we have recently lost our foreman, which ran the department. We are in the process now of trying to replace the foreman along with the number 2 employee of the department, which that was never been filled, I should say never, hasn't been filled in over 2 years. People just in the department, they didn't have the adequate licenses and stuff, so I've done some interviews yesterday. I'll think about it, about who's the best candidate's gonna be for the department. And I'm gonna bring in, the previous foreman has been kind enough to offer some services, to light up and come in and try to train the new foreman, whoever it is, to give them a little bit of knowledge and whatnot,
Sure.
how the process goes. So that's a work in progress. We have just recently down at Pulaski Playground, the playground equipment, we removed there was sand down there. We removed the sand and put in rubber mulch. The city spent about $17,000 on new rubber mulch down there. We did get a $500 donation from Unitil, that they donated some funds for that as well. But it looks real nice if you've ever been down there. And work was done in the dog park for drainage. We also cleaned the wooden, near the dog equipment. We dug that out and replaced it with some new mulch as well. And we also paved some of the walking area around the Pulaski Park, had some tree roots and some depressions and whatnot, so that has been fixed and repaved. So one by one, we're gonna try to get into our parks and playgrounds again and pick away at improving them. There's also a plan to move, there's some playground equipment at Waterford Street School that they no longer need, so we're gonna try to remove at least the good pieces, move them up to Bigford Playground, because there's very little equipment up at Bigford, and have that installed and put in some rubber mulch as well. So we're trying.
100%.
Up at the transfer station, not the sludge landfill, the transfer station, we're working with the Board of Health. They have some drainage issues up there, so the city DPW is working with the Board of Health to try to get some of the drainage issues corrected up there. So if you see some activity, that's what that work is. We will be starting Crystal Lake Water Treatment Facility. That roof, we'll be starting that shortly. It's about $130,000 project. So at some point, you'll see a contractor up on the top of the stripping the shingles and replacing that work as well. But the council approved that funding right before the end of the fiscal year. Salt shed across the street, we just opened up the bids to install and complete the installation of the salt shed. Low bid came in at just under $100,000 to install it. We gave them 3 months from the signing of notice to proceed to finish, so we're looking to get that completed as well. So that should be up before snow flies.
Beautiful.
James Street Pump Station, we received a grant for just under $1 million for the redoing the James Street Pump Station up on the top of Reservoir Hill. We're gonna be putting that up to bid shortly, probably within a month, to redo the pump station. And then just lastly, we're working to trying to get with the mayor and city auditor, trying to get some DPW equipment, either through a loan through the city or somehow fund getting some new equipment for the DPW. That's all I got.
I guess I can do it under council request, or I can talk about it right now, so I'll just talk about it right now. I mentioned it last time when we remove trees along sidewalks, on the streets, and the remnants of, where we took the base of the trees out, and then we're kind of left with nothing, and then grass. And in some cases, some of the pavement around those trees where it was disturbed and creates kind of a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
I know it's probably very low on the totem pole from a priority standpoint, but do we think through? Obviously, we think through it, but what's the plan to long term to fix maybe where there's bare spots of grass and there's just gravel there or whatever's left, remnants from the trees, that like to kind of smoothen out the, use Waterford for
Yep.
Street, for example, you know, some of the side, the asphalt is pulled up in some of the areas where the trees were, long-term, I guess, what's the plan to?
That's a municipal grounds issue. What we typically do is once we cut the tree down, we come out with a stump grinder, grind it down.
Yeah.
At least 6 inches below the ground. Take some of the mulch, we'll call it, away and top it with loam and seed it. I can't sit here and tell you the specifics why that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
We've also been in a drought, so if it was,
Yeah.
if it was loomed, and again, I don't know the specific spot,
Yeah.
but if it was loomed, it probably didn't take. But I can definitely check it out.
Yeah, if we could just follow back up on that, because I don't believe it was ever loomed, but if you're telling me that it was, it may have been, but it may have washed away as
Yeah,
well, so.
and as far as a sidewalk, if the sidewalk was damaged, like some of the trees drove in,
Yeah,
we'll cut it out and patch it,
Okay.
so.
thank you. All right, appreciate that. Rob?
Okay, I'll start with GIS. I get something sitting here thinking, I don't ever really talk about GIS. Maggie's always busy. She has been busy updating all of our files, layers, specifically parcels that are twofold. Our assessors department uses our GIS parcels, and the state also uses our parcels. The state has slightly different standards that they use than we do. Maggie's been trying to correct kind of inconsistencies between the two layers, and she's found lots of them, so she's really good at that. She's very good at registry research for deeds and whatnot, and she does a lot of that, correcting issues that she's finding, working with our city assessor on that. So they've been coordinating and working on that for some time. She's made a lot of progress. Along with that, GIS software, ArcGIS software that we used to use is becoming obsolete. They're forcing all the old files to be compatible with newer versions of their ArcGIS software, so she's been working on that as well. We have some projects that we're thinking about doing coming up for new layers for either internal use or for internal public use, but Maggie's doing a great job. Some of the other projects going on, I think Councilor Hagelin brought this up at the last council meeting, for the Waterford Community Center. He and I, along with Dane, looked at parking needs for all the potential uses, existing, proposed, maybe even future. So I've been drawing up parking on the existing pavement that's out there, trying to figure out how to max things out, meet everybody's needs. I have to finish up that, but we sat down, I got a lot of great information on tenants and uses, so I think we're good there. As you know, moving to another subject, we had, the council passed an update to the floodplain ordinance as a result of FEMA issuing new firm maps for the city. As I had kind of anticipated, I've had a few residents come in to see me, email and talk on the phone, where they're getting a letter from their mortgage company saying, hey, your property's in a floodplain, that maybe weren't previously. So I've helped a few residents kind of wade through that process, whether it's supplying information I can give them that's readily available, that they may not be aware of, to kind of help their case, where basically all the ones that have called in so far, basically it looks like their structures aren't in the floodplain. They didn't think they needed flood insurance, so kind of helping them to get through that process. So I've only had a few, which is good. I assume maybe in the next month or two I'll see a few more. But all in all, I think the transition to the new firm maps and the need for flood insurance has gone relatively smooth. We have 2 projects in the city, Federal Highway Administration grants for Safe Routes to School and Safe Routes for All. The Safe Routes to School project, which is through Justin's, through Planning, Community Development and Planning. That's Director Stevens' project, but I'll give you an update because it impacts traffic and whatnot when construction starts. So that's the project that will redo Elm Street from Cross Street down to Lawrence Temple, well, to Temple really. It's road, sidewalks, all the surface things you see, including some drainage work to allow for that work. We met recently to go over utilities, with all the utility companies, myself, the contractor, our consultant, Ty and Bond. That project is supposed to be starting this fall. They are going to work this fall to do the underground work, the drainage and a few other things, some utilities. Once that is completed this fall, they're gonna kind of wrap up for the season and then come back in the spring to do all the surface work, the sidewalks, the road. So that project, I don't have a start date, but it's supposed to be this fall, so that should be happening soon. The Safe Routes for All, that's the project. I believe the grant was awarded in 2023, and I've been working with Federal Highway Administration on the final grant agreement. For whatever reason, every time we submitted a revision to the grant agreement, they came back with new ones. So, and then there was an administration change at the federal level, which created more revisions to the grant agreement. So, good news is we finally got that wrapped up. The mayor's executed it. It's gone back to Federal Highway. I'm just awaiting it to come back from them with their signatures. That's going to, once I have that, we're gonna really jump into that right away. The consultant who will be working for the city will be helping to arrange and have these public information sessions. It will require a committee with city stakeholders. So I'll be working through all of that, working with the mayor to get that committee set up to move forward with developing this Vision Zero policy, which is geared towards eliminating fatalities on our roads, whether it's pedestrians, bikers, motorists. That's the goal, is to develop the plan, perhaps have a few demonstration projects which would either restripe an intersection, new signage to see how things work, and then hopefully get us into the next round of funding, which would be larger projects, get funding for more implementation. So that's that. The good news on that one as well, I think that grant was about $280,000, which had a city match of $57,000. The state actually has a program for matching funds, grants for matching funds that don't involve state grants. We applied to that, and we were awarded $57,000 from the state to cover our matching funds. So this whole project will be at no cost to the city. So,
Excellent.
yeah, that was great. And I think that's all I had for you.
Questions?
No? Great.
Awesome, thank you for that. Thank you for the update and conservation.
All right, so I'll keep it pretty light, but permitting is pretty much business as usual in my department. I've really had a good chance the last few months to work with residents that, you know, are doing projects within my jurisdiction for the first time, so people that are not as familiar with the process as, you know, someone in my position are. It's been really, I've really enjoyed supplying a lot of technical assistance, you know, when they're preparing to come before the commission for hearings. As far as some newer updates, it's kind of towing the line between conservation and planning, but been working with Ty and Bond to prepare a presentation for a public information panel of our own for the MVP grant on the Keys Road culvert. Right now we're finalizing our draft for presentation and materials to send out to abutters and stakeholders near the area of question, and we're trying to pencil in October 22nd as our date for the public information panel. And I'll be working among some of the departments in City Hall to get all the information out there ahead of time as appropriate. And when I'm not doing permitting, I'm just trying to see what we can do to kind of streamline and make my portion of the department run a little bit more efficiently. I am looking to give a little bit of new life to some of our standard site inspection forms. Doesn't seem like a lot of them have been used in recent years, so I want to see what we have, what can be improved on, and then how we can, you know, make it better moving forward, so that some of the observations that I make in the field, you know, are a lot more easily communicated to, you know, those that have those observations under their purview, such as the commission, and, you know, others that are interested in some of those projects that we have going through. So, but yeah, that's about it.
Questions? Okay. Thank you all. Council request, I mentioned it earlier, I'll just start, I'll go first. So I mentioned it earlier, just on a monthly basis, high level overview from the department heads, so I can report out at city council.
Can we send that to you? or the
I'm gonna
council?
follow up with that template from the President Tyros on that. My next question, from our request, I'm getting a lot of requests around, just sidewalks in general, and what do we do, from, I know it's difficult, weed removal, overgrown sidewalks, and what's our plan? How do we handle that?
Brush, we have the city's brush cutter tractor is in use. If you're talking like spraying weeds that are growing up out of cracks,
We don't do that.
we
No.
just don't do that.
But anything overgrown or impair?
Yeah, email me and I send it to the tractor operator. He goes out and gets it.
And then we're gonna continuously ask this one question to Rob, about these double poles. Any movement, any answer?
It's getting to the point where I don't hear back from National Grid anymore. It's, it's ongoing. If you do see them, if it's a new one, let me know, because trying to compare the list that comes out from National Grid, which is through a third-party kind of website, a consortium of utilities, I think all up the East Coast. But if you see them, let me know. I've not made any progress with them. I still think the best thing is someone has to push the state to amend state law to have some teeth to the law that's on the books, which has none. There's no consequences for not meeting the removal timeline. I've asked for contacts at the other utilities from National Grid, for Comcast and Verizon. I've yet to see those, even though I was promised I would get them. So yeah, it's not going well.
We keep pushing. Moving forward, from a meeting perspective, talking to Councilor Cormier and Councilor Gardner, if we can meet the second Tuesday of every month, could we make the time 8:15? Is that a problem for anybody here?
Perfect.
We'll make it 8:15, and then if by chance it lands on a holiday, we'll defer to the Friday of that week. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. Good. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.